Hey everybody, it's GauntletX and welcome back to some more Magic Arena. Today I will be playing a quick draft of Alchemy Horizons Battle for Baldur's Gate. This is part of the early access streaming event, so thank you very much to Wizards of the Coast for the early access accounts. But without further ado, let's take a look through our pack 1 and see what we want to scoop up. So our rare here is Displacer Kitten, which seems like a very fun card for the blue-white flicker deck, but a little slow. 4-mana 2/2, does not do anything else till you cast another non-creature spell, so I don't know if that's where I want to start, but it could be a solid card if we end up in that direction. And then on the uncommon slot, we have Lurking Roper for a life gain kind of deck. This can be solid from Adventures in the Forgotten Realms and Portable Hole. You'll also remember from Adventures in the Forgotten Realms. Solid removal if you're really aggressive and you just want to get rid of small creatures from your opponents. But then we have what looks to be the best card in the pack out of the uncommons and rares, which is Mephit's Enthusiasm. This is going to be a 2-mana sorcery to deal 4 damage to a creature planeswalker, and if you deal excess damage to that target, then the next creature spell you cast will come into play with X additional power, where X is the excess damage you dealt. So this seems really good. 2 mana for 4 damage to a creature planeswalker is already a solid deal in Limited, a card I would pick pretty highly in general, and this gives you a little bit of extra upside on top of that. So I think Mephit's Enthusiasm seems like a solid place to start here. For pick 2 here, our uncommons are definitely less exciting. Most of them seem kind of slow and dirtily. Scouting Hawk only getting you a land if you're behind on lands. Dragonborn Immolator, just a very slow fire breather that maybe gives additional power to your next creature. And then Thrakkus the Butcher, definitely probably the best of these uncommons, but still not great. It would tie us into 2 colors. It's a 5-mana card, so it's a bit slow in that sense. And it's only great when you are attacking, so when you're on the aggressive, not good when you're in the defensive position. But on the aggressive, it does attack as a 6/4 trample by itself, and makes your other dragons even better, which is cool. But I think I'm just going to take the very solid common here, Priest of Ancient Lore. This card was incredible in the original Adventures in the Forgotten Realms, and if you've played any Streets of New Capenna lately, you'll know how powerful this effect can be on Angelic Overseer. This card obviously doesn't have flying, so it's not as good as the Overseer, but it's still a very, very solid common, and probably going to be my pickup from Pack 2. Pick 3 now, and again, I don't think we have anything that sweet in the uncommon slot or the rare slot. These cards were both pretty mediocre in Adventures in the Forgotten Realms, but when we look to our commons, we have some options for sure. Definitely the 2 white commons are the most exciting to me. We have Minimus Containment from Adventures in the Forgotten Realms, solid white removal if you need removal. However, I think there are a few reasons this isn't super good in this format. There's a lot of good main deckable artifact and enchantment removal that I've seen, as well as flicker effects that can bounce your permanent back to your hand, or flicker the permanent that has the enchantment removal on it to just destroy your enchantment removal entirely. So I'm definitely lower on Minimus Containment than I think I was back in Adventures in the Forgotten Realms right now. Whereas Flaming Fist Duskguard, this is a new card that's just really good for a very aggressive deck. A 2-mana 3/1 that makes it so your next creature also comes into play with an additional power. Almost like having 4 power for only 2 mana, which is really, really aggressive, and I think this card has played pretty solidly and really lends itself well to some aggressive strategies, which is where I think red-white decks want to be in the format. So I'm going to take Flaming Fist Duskguard. Pick 4 now, we see another Thrakkus. Bonecaller Cleric is fun. Not massively good, though. These white cards are just okay. Soldiers of the Watch is fine because of the double team mechanic. Obviously, if it didn't have double team, a 2-mana 2/1 would be unplayable. It fails the vanilla test pretty hard, but getting 2 creatures off of it is fine. Devoted Paladin is fine. At the top end of an aggressive curve, but nothing super exciting. Kobold Warcaller's been pretty good, being able to give creatures in your hand haste for later in the game, and being able to do that early on in the game where you don't have to still have the Kobold Warcaller around to give the creatures like onboard haste or anything like that has been nice. So I like Kobold Warcaller here, just sticking with what we're going with. If we wanted to hop onto a different color, maybe head into white black here potentially, because I do think Sewer Plague is a great removal spell. 3 mana for -2/-2 at instant speed, and it's not a temporary -2/-2, it's a permanent -2/-2, and the creature you targeted gets an additional -1/-1 every single upkeep, so no matter what, that creature's going to die very quickly. If you cast this during your turn and then you pass to your opponent, the creature has -3/-3 by the time they draw a card, because it gets another -1/-1 on their upkeep. It's -4/-4 once they pass back to you, -5/-5 once you turn cycle back to them, so Sewer Plague really does just kill pretty much anything, as well as the flexibility of being able to do it instant speed to win a combat out of nowhere if things go wrong. So I like Sewer Plague a lot, but I think I'm going to go Kobold Warcaller and stick with where we're at. Although, that card's not that exciting. Yeah, I'm actually going to take the Sewer Plague here. Stay a little open to maybe not hopping completely on the red train immediately. So for pick 5 here, we have Steadfast Paladin, which is definitely a very solid pickup for an aggressive white strategy, which is what we're going for. But we also have a new alchemy card, one of these specialized cards. This is the first specialized card we'll be talking about, so I'll go over the mechanic real quick. Specialize is basically for whatever amount of mana it says. So on this card, it's 3 generic mana. You can spend that mana at sorcery speed and discard a card to flip this into a specialized version. The specialized version will be whatever color the card you discarded is, or whatever land type the card you discarded is. So if you discard a forest, it'll be the black-green version. If you discard a black card, it'll be just the black version. This is a 4 mana 3/3. At the beginning of combat on your turn, a creature you control gets +X/+O until end of turn, where X is the number of creatures in your graveyard. So automatically, just a hill giant with a little bit of upside. Once you flip it, though, the way that you can always flip it is going to be the black version, so important to read that one. When it specializes, seek a creature card, put it into your graveyard, then conjure 2 duplicates of it into your graveyard. So fill your graveyard pretty quickly, put 3 creatures in your grave. And then, yeah, you know you'll be getting +3/+0 each combat, and it turns into a 4/4. What is the white version? Because that is the second most likely for us right now. That would be a 4/4 with First Strike. And the creature gets +X/+O and First Strike till end of turn, where X is the number of creatures in your grave. That's a pretty big buff, being able to give something First Strike till end of turn, even if you're giving +0/+0 in First Strike, that's big. And then the third most likely for us is going to be the red version, which is going to be Menace and give the other creature Menace. While the flipped versions of this card are pretty powerful, I actually kind of like Servok here over Steadfast Paladin. Once I get more familiar with the format, I could definitely see this changing and going for the Steadfast Paladin here, but Servok's a card I haven't played with or against yet, so I'd like to get some practice in with it, and it seems solid. You know, just discard a land late game, and all of a sudden you've got a real big impact on combat with those triggers, so I'll go for Servok the Usurper here. Pick 6 here, I'm pretty happy to have gone in the direction that I have, because it looks like the red is drying up with just You Find Some Prisoners here, not a particularly playable card in Limited. We do see a pretty great black card though, quite expensive, the Black Dragon, but this card was the nuts in Adventures in the Forgotten Realms. 7 mana for a 4/4 flyer that also gives you a miniature removal spell when it hits the board, making a creature have -3/-3 till end of turn. Definitely my pickup from this pack. Pick 7 is going to be pretty awkward for us, because I don't love the discard spells like Demogorgon's Clutches, and Baleful Beholder is fine, but it's not a card I would take highly. It's a card I take if I just need something at the top end, and I already have a big old black dragon, and we're only halfway through the first pack, so I don't think I need another big 6-drop creature like Baleful Beholder. And there's no white cards in the pack, and Spiked Pit Trap is just if you are really hurting for removal. So I think this is a pack where I'm going to end up taking an off-color card, speculating on another color, and I think the strongest cards in this pack are probably the alchemy cards again. Jaheira Harper Emissary is a 2 mana 2/3 with hexproof from artifacts and enchantments. So a 2 mana 2/3 with a moderate upside, where if your opponent is playing white and they have removal like Minimus Containment, or they're playing blue and they have removal like Charmed Sleep, they can't cast it on Jaheira. And then whenever you specialize this card, no matter what version you specialize her into, she's going to destroy an artifact or enchantment when you flip her. So she's just a 2 mana 2/3 that gives you main deck artifact and enchantment removal if you randomly need it. So that's just a pretty solid rate in general. And you know you'll be able to specialize her later, because if you're playing against the white or blue deck that has enchantment-based removal, they can't cast it on her. They're going to have to cast it on something else, and if they do cast it on something else, you just blow it up. So pretty hard to play against if you have removal spells in hand, but they're just enchantments. So in those matchups, Jaheira is going to be great. And in any other matchup, a 2-mana 2/3, fine little rate. So I'll take Jaheira here. Not much left in the pack here in pick 8, but we do have Hook Horror, which is a card I'd like to try out a little bit. This card's good with sacrifice outlets. I have played against it a little bit, and it did some solid things. It always looked really, really slow to me, but once my opponents started using this alongside like Skullport Merchant, I was like, oh dear, okay, that might be good. It's a 5-mana 3/3 that comes back every time it dies with 1 less toughness. So 5-mana 3/3, when it dies, bring back it as a 2/2, when it dies, bring it back as 1/1, and then when it dies after that, it will just stay in your graveyard forever. So I'll take a Hook Horror here. Nothing crazy in the pack, and probably going to be nothing crazy in the packs from here on out. Portable Hole is fine. It is pretty narrow for limited. But if you're in an aggressive race, in an aggressive deck, it's going to be good. I do like you line up the shot. It's not as strong as Portable Hole when Portable Hole actually hits something, but with you line up the shot, you always know it's going to do something, because worst case scenario, you can just draw the card off of it. And then if your opponent does have a flyer or an artifact or enchantment, you just pull out the plummet or naturalize from this card. You just conjure those. So you line up the shot is way more flexible. But we are heavier into white, and Portable Hole is very good when it does hit something. It just won't always hit something. I'll go for the Portable Hole here. Some very filler stuff in this pack. Filler 2-drop of Horde Robber. The filler Baleful Beholder, the Dragonborn Immolator that just looks like too slow, too much mana to do much, and then the Scouting Hawk that also is like maybe mana ramp, but only if your opponent has more lands than you. I guess it's pretty good on the draw. I don't know, it's probably good for the Flicker deck, but we're not really the Flicker deck here. At the same time, I'm very unexcited about these other cards. Maybe try out a Scouting Hawk. Pick 11 now, we have Grey Slod, where we could mill 4, and then if there are 4 more creatures in our grave, this is going to be a 3-mana 4/1 Menace Death Touch. If you can consistently turn this into Menace Death Touch, that'll be pretty threatening, and the self-mill is definitely good with Sarevok the Usurper. Definitely seems like there's a lot of black cards that like that. We could take that, or we could take Incessant Provocation. In case we end up in red-black, this card will definitely be good. The red-black sacrifice deck is back in full force in this draft format. Sepulchre Ghoul is back, where you can sacrifice a creature to give it +2/+2, so you can steal an opponent's creature, attack them with it, and sacrifice it post-combat, so you never give it back. So Provocation or Grey Slod here, both seem pretty solid. And go for the Grey Slod. Alright, now that we're getting a bit of a self-mill theme with Grey Slod milling us 4 cards and Sarevok wanting us to fill our grave as well, Bonecaller Cleric is probably a fine card, because if we mill something big like a Black Dragon early, being able to bring it back to the board for only 4 mana is going to be a powerful mechanic, so we'll go for Bonecaller Cleric here. And then we can even go for Summon Undead. Although this one I'm less likely to play, but much more likely to play it than Dragonborn Looter, the off-color card. And the last pick, Baleful Beholder, nice. Pack 2, pick 1, some incredible stuff. In the rare and uncommon slot in this pack, we have Uthgard Fury. A 3-mana enchantment. When it enters the battlefield, it deals 4 damage to any target, and damage isn't removed from creatures your opponents control during cleanup steps, which is insane. Basically, any damage you do to opposing creatures is going to become permanent with this thing on the board. So we would have the start of Mephit's Enthusiasm and Uthgard Fury towards our red. We cut white and go into the red-black deck. This is a very powerful card, so it's a tempting reason to try to do that. However, red was very, very dry in the first pack. We did not get past a lot of red cards that were any good, And in the uncommon slot, we have an incredibly powerful removal spell as well, the Sea Tower Imprisonment, 4 mana for an enchantment. Don't love that it's enchantment removal, but this card really makes up for it because when you cast this spell, you're also conjuring the Soldiers of the Watch onto the battlefield. So it's 4 mana to shut off a creature, make it so it can't attack, block, or use its activated abilities, and put a 2/1 onto your board, and if that 2/1 attacks, you get another 2/1 into your hand. So Sea Tower Imprisonment is kind of just nuts, and I think I'm going to take that here because we are heavier into white, and it definitely seemed like more white cards were getting passed around than red, although white wasn't incredibly open either, it was just more open than red, so I'll take Sea Tower Imprisonment here. Pack 2 here, not a lot for us. There's a Steadfast Unicorn, a 1/2 for 1 mana that can give our field +1/+1 vigilance for only 4 mana. It's kind of a big Anthem effect for kind of cheap. Seems like a somewhat playable 1-drop. And then Nefarious Imp, a 2/1 flyer that whenever our permanents leave the battlefield, we get to scry 1. These both seem pretty comparable. They're like fine, but nothing super exciting. I don't love Grim Wanderer. It never played super well back in Adventures in the Forgotten Realms. I don't expect it to do much better here. Go ahead and take a look at our curve now that we're kind of committed to black-white. I think we could use some more early game stuff to do. It looks like we already have 3 3-mana creatures. Only 2 2-mana ones. Grab a 1-drop Steadfast Unicorn here. Try to stay somewhat aggressive with this deck. Well, we see some really excellent stuff here. Pack 2, pick 3. We see another Flaming Fist Duskguard for the just really powerful, aggressive 2-drop creature. That is probably going to be my pick here. But we also see Sepulchre Ghoul, which is incredible in black-red and still pretty good in other archetypes. Shambling Ghast, kind of similar to the Sepulchre Ghoul, but definitely a lot lower impact. This one I think pretty much only sees play in the black-red deck. In other strategies, it's just okay. Yeah, I'm pretty excited about Flaming Fist Duskguard. I think I'm going to take that here, but we also have the Sigil of Miracle, or the Sigil of Miracle. At the beginning of combat on turn, mill a card. When you do, if there are 4 or more creatures in your graveyard, put a +1/+1 counter on a creature you control and it gains Death Touch till end of turn. So this is pretty good if we go really hard into the self-mill strategy, but that being said, we really need to be getting +1/+1 counters off of this for it to be good, because if it's just a 3-mana enchantment to mill 1 each turn, that is a lot of commitment. 3 mana do nothing for a few turns. Yeah, probably not the Sigil here, because probably just takes too long to start getting counters off with it. I'm going to take the Flaming Fist Duskguard, which is definitely always just consistently good. Pick 4 now, we see another Sigil, and Guardian Naga, which is main deck artifact enchantment removal again, and it gives you a big boss monster for late game. And there's You Hear Something on Watch, which is just defensive removal, another Nefarious Imp, or another Sewer Plague. I already kind of spoke my piece on Sewer Plague. I think this is excellent removal, and I'll probably take it here. However, there's actually a little bit of contention with this land, because I think these lands are excellent. They come into play tapped, but then later in the game, once, you can spend 4 mana and tap them to seek a non-land card. So that means draw a random non-land card from your deck. So 4 mana tap, draw a card 1 time, and it's guaranteed to be gas. It's guaranteed not to just be another land. It's actually really nice. I really like how these gates have played, so I think I would take them relatively highly in this format. I don't think I'm going to take it over Sewer Plague, though. I think Sewer Plague is great removal, but if Sewer Plague weren't in here, I'd probably take it over the Imp, the Hear Something on Watch, the Naga, all that stuff. And I just realized that my webcam was accidentally open, even though it's turned off right now. So my apologies about the black box in the corner for the first half of the drafting process. Hopefully it didn't get too far in the way too often, but it is gone now. So here I think it's probably a pretty easy Bone Collar Cleric for another nice little Reanimator card. Seems like the funnest card in the pack. Valiant Farewell is just a little combat trick kind of thing that does a little more than usual. And then Deadly Dispute is fine. It is really, really good and constructed. It's just okay and limited. I'm going to go for the Bone Collar Cleric here. Sepulchre Ghoul still in this pack is pretty nice for us. I think we take that. Not a massive fan of You're Ambushed on the Road, Thieves' Tools, or these colorless cards like Bag of Holding or Iron Golem. So I'll scoop up the Sepulchre Ghoul. Alright, Lantern of Revealing. Mana of any color, 4-mana tap, look at the top card of your library. If it's a land, put it onto the battlefield. Not really for our deck, but it could be okay if you're trying to do a big, rampy and splashy kind of deck. Then Bag of Holding is a little slow, so I think I'm just going to take the Devoted Paladin here. Eyes of the Beholder is pretty expensive for removal, but I'm definitely not playing Demogorgon's Clutches, so take Eyes of the Beholder as an option. Take a look at our curve again here. Get rid of our non-creature spells out of this curve. So we can look at how our creature curve looks. Looking pretty aggressive. I could use another Steadfast Unicorn here and just get on the beat down. I think that's what I'm going to do. Don't really think I need another 6-drop for this deck. And we can play a Grim Wanderer. It would be okay. Can't really consistently play it at any point in the game, but most often it'll be like turn 4 or later it'll come out. Another Sepulchre Ghoul is cool. These sigils are going to go really late, which is fair. I don't think they're that good, so I'm probably still not going to take it here. Take another Sepulchre Ghoul. Here's something on watch is fine. You can play that for now, but we might cut that in deck building, as with Valiant Farewell. And Thieves' Tools, I think I'm just immediately going to put in the sideboard. Pack 3, pick 1, and we open up a very powerful on-color rare. A 6-mana instant. You get to create two 2/2 White Knights. You get to seek a non-land permanent with mana value 3 or less. You get to destroy an artifact, you get to destroy an enchantment, and you get to gain 3 life. So worst case scenario, 6 mana, get 2 2/2s, gain 3 life, and get a random, probably 3/1 out of your deck on average for our deck. It's really strong. Yeah, on average 3 creatures for 6 mana and gain 3 life at instant speed. This card's pretty huge. This seems nuts in limited, and it's definitely the pick here. Pack 3, pick 2, Stalwart for the Flicker deck. Not too much going on in black. And then the colorless cards are also not great. Pilgrim's Eye's solid, but I don't think I'm going to put it in this deck. I'm going to take the Gate of the Black Dragon here. Already spoke my piece on the gates. I think the ability to seek a guaranteed non-land card is pretty powerful to have on the land. Pack 3, pick 3 here. It's probably going to be a Priest of Ancient Lore, but it could be Minimus Containment if we don't have a lot of good removal, or it could be the Grey Slod if we really need more self-mill. Probably Priest of Ancient Lore, though. Let's take a look at how our removal looks. Portable Hole. You hear something on watch, 2 copies of Sewer Plague, Sea Tower Imprisonment, and Eyes of the Beholder. I think I'm doing perfectly fine on removal. Don't think I need Minimus Containment. So it is between Priest of Ancient Lore just being a really good ability, or Grey Slad maybe being a little more synergistic, because we do have 2 Bone Collar Clerics, and then we'd have 2 Grey Slads for wanting that self-mill, alongside Saravok as well. I'm still going to take Priest of Ancient Lore because it's just so consistently good, but I would be really, really happy to wield a Grey Slod. Probably won't happen, but we'll see. Alright, pack 3, pick 4. We can pretty easily scoop up another Flaming Fist Dusk Guard. Other cards are just kind of slow. Yep, Flaming Fist Dusk Guard it is. Another Priest of Ancient Lore. Okay, I suppose we'll pick that up. Ghost Lantern, I guess, is okay with a self-mill strategy, but it's not super exciting. Steadfast Paladin's pretty good too, but I think our curve's looking great on 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, 7 2-drops already. Take another Priest of Ancient Lore. Take another Flaming Fist Duskguard or Sepulchre Ghoul. I think the Duskguard is better than Ghoul in this deck, so I'll scoop that up. Real aggressive black-white deck here today. Nothing great for us this time. Spiked Pit Trap if we really need removal, and then some filler creatures like Paladin, Horde Robber, Cleric. We already have a ton going on at 2 mana. I don't think I'll have room to throw this Cleric in, but maybe I'll have room for Devoted Paladin on 5. Yeah, I don't think I have enough sack to really want Hook Horror. It's like okay with Sepulchre Ghoul, but not great, so I think I cut that and just have 2 Paladins at 5. Don't think I have room for just a little combat trick like Armor of Shadows, because I have a lot of other good non-creature spells, but I'm also probably not playing Summon Undead, so I guess we'll get that as an option. So our options are a little more flexible at that mana cost. There's the Sigil, Sepulchre Ghoul, Horde Robber, Ambush on the Road. I'll just take another Ghoul. Baleful Beholder or Armor of Shadows. I already have 1 Beholder and 1 Armor, and I'm not going to play both. I'm not going to play 2 of either. I'll just throw one of them in the sideboard. Doesn't really matter which. Rally Maneuver can be a big combat trick if you're lucky, but it's on rare occasion. It's a pretty narrow card. So I'll take it, but it's probably getting cut. I think I'm definitely not playing Manticore. Yeah, take the Rally Maneuver, probably getting cut. And now the Monk, that's definitely getting cut. Just a little too hard to consistently cast 2 spells per turn. Alright, and here we are in the deck, building a 50-card deck right now, so we get to cut 10 cards out of here. I'd like to be a 17-creature, pretty aggressive deck here. So we can cut 5 creatures out of this one. Don't love the Grim Wanderer. Don't love the Scouting Hawk in this deck either. I don't think we need the mana ramp that badly, we just need it for like Black Dragon, that's about it. And at that rate we could even cut the Beholder to keep our curve nice and low. And we still need to cut 2 more creatures if we want to be a 17-creature deck here. The Bonecaller Clerics are cute, but they might not be what we're looking for in this deck. They're cute if we live in Magical Christmas Land with our Grace Lad, but don't think we do. Yeah, 4 Flaming Fist Duskguard, triple Sepulchre Ghoul just seems like a pretty great aggressive curve of 2 drops. Bonecaller Cleric is just... yeah, it's big with when you have good big creatures to get back, but our deck doesn't have a lot of those. I guess it's good to bring back Priest of Ancient Lores, but I don't know, I don't think we really got there with the Grey Slot kind of deck. So I think we cut those. We could even maybe cut the Grey Slot. Yeah, we need 4 more creatures for this to be good. It's not going to happen often. Maybe we cut the Grey Slad and put one of the Bonecaller Clerics in, and maybe just getting back a Priest of Ancient Lore or something is fine. Okay, so now we cut 5 non-creature cards here. Don't think we'll have room for combat tricks like Armor of Shadows, because we're going to have to use the non-creature slots on cards like Sewer Plague and Sea Tower Imprisonment that are just phenomenal removal straight up. And Soon's Intervention, which is just nuts. So we'll cut Armor of Shadows, Rally Maneuver, Summon Undead, and Eyes of the Beholder, because they're all just slow or not great. And then probably Valiant Farewell also. And then I've cut pretty much every combat trick, but I still potentially have You Hear Something on Watch to give my entire field +1/+1, or deal 5 to an attacking creature, so it's kind of a flexible little combat trick. Instead of the kind of inflexible Valiant Farewell. I guess Valiant Farewell does draw me a card when I play it, so it replaces itself. Whereas You Hear Something on Watch does not. If I cut You Hear Something on Watch, I still have Portable Hole, double Sewer Plague, and a Sea Tower Imprisonment for removal. Yeah, I don't know. We'll try the Valiant Farewell, I guess. It does give the next creature we cast +2 power. It could be kind of big. We'll play around with it, but I don't expect it to be that great. But You Hear Something on Watch also is not that great in this deck, so we've got that room to try this out. So this is going to be the deck. It's going to be an Orzhov, just aggro deck. A lot of great 2-drops. The Flaming Fist Duskguard is the big draw to this deck. These 2 mana 3/1s that are going to make our next creature come in with an additional power. Solid removal to try to keep the board clear while we just keep shredding with our 3-power creatures. And then in the late game, we've got Paladin to buff the field for a big swing. Soon's Intervention can really bring us back into the game, as well as Black Dragon as well. Those are a huge late game impact to bring us back in if our opponent has stabilized. Saravok the Usurper can do that as well. So pretty spicy deck here, and I'm excited to see how it does. Here we are in game 1. I don't think I can mulligan this hand, although I would like to have more aggressive creatures ideally. 2 drops and 3 drops. But we've got our colors, we've got great removal going on here. Playing against a white deck. White and green is what our opponent's running with. Circle of the Land Druid is their play. Pretty annoying for our Bonecaller Cleric. I think we'll drop the Unicorn here and we can just buff everything next turn and get an attack in. Attack with a 3-2 and a 2-3, both with Vigilance. This is weird. Circle of the Land Druid dies, return a land from their grave to hand. I guess they just want to land badly. Pick up that gate to tumble down, get a red source. Celestial Unicorn is the play. Well, I am no longer buffing the board. I'm just going to get rid of that Unicorn right now before they get any life gain and make it any bigger. Now, even if they have reanimate effects, it's just a 1-0 in the grave. It's kind of like we exiled it. Portable Hole. Now they're going to literally exile our Bonecaller Cleric. Okay, Sea Tower Imprisonment is the draw. Powerful card, don't really want to play it right now. I'm going to drop Devoted Paladin, but I don't think we're attacking in here, because our Unicorn would just trade into the Knoll Hunter. I guess, you know, that's actually fine. It's fine to trade the Unicorn to the Knoll Hunter. Or I guess we let them get the land. Gonna have to chip through that Circle Druid later anyway. So that's fine too. Okay, don't really want to spend any removal on this 2-2, so I'll just buff our board and swing in again. Get some Unicorn action in here. Chump block the 5-5. They have a combat trick as well here. No, flicker the 2-2 so that it will still be on board. This is going to cost 6 mana, but it'll be a big flyer that potentially gives them more 1-1 flyers if permanents they control left the battlefield this turn. Lurking Roper is the play. Sea Tower Imprisonment is very bad against that, because it already doesn't untap during its untap step. Oh wait, no, that's not how this one works. I'm getting my enchantment removal mixed up. That's blue enchantment removal, that'll keep it tapped. This one makes it so it can't attack, block, or use abilities. So that will work here. Do I want to do that? Yeah, because I get to put a 2-2 out when I do this, or a 2-1 out when I do this, so I'm also making my board state a little better. But this is showing off the problem with these kind of removal. If they have another Pegasus Guardian here, or Rescuer Chwinga, there's just so much flicker and stuff in this format that Sea Tower Imprisonment is pretty much the only enchantment removal that I'm pretty fine with. But Charmed Sleep, Minimus Containment, definitely really low on those at this point. Ooh, Black Dragon. Told the Chwinga just to send a message. I mean, on board it's not, it's actually just worse than Knoll Hunter, so we just play Black Dragon so we have a threat to be attacking with in the sky, and then we get rid of the Knoll Hunter this time, I guess. Next turn we can use Steadfast Unicorn to buff our field, make them both 5/5s with Vigilance, and have the mana up for Sewer Plague. Then we attack with a 5/5 Vigilance on the ground and a 5/5 Flying Vigilance as well. I'm going to keep this in case we draw our Specialized card. Do I want to Sewer Plague during combat here? because if I don't want to use this Sewer Plague, then I need to not attack with Devoted Paladin, because if I attack with Devoted Paladin, they're probably blocking with like a 4-5 and a 2-2, and then I can really get them with Sewer Plague. So how badly do I want to still have this in hand? Not that badly, it's fine if they play a 3-3 flyer. Like, I can still attack them with Black Dragon, so I'm just going to do this. Stay aggressive, try to keep their board clear here. I guess they can block with the 3-2 and a 2-2 if they want. No! Well, that's really sad. Goodbye, Black Dragon. That's pretty bad for us. And now if I end up using Sewer Plague, I will actually have a problem with the flyer being on board, but do what you gotta do. We can still keep attacking with a 5-5 on the ground. If they just play a land, play a 3-3 flyer. Worst case scenario, they double block the Paladin, which is not actually a bad case scenario for us there. This is almost definitely a combat trick. I can just take 3. When they specialize, discard their hand. Okay, so the specialized version is just like a moderately stronger version. Whenever they discard their hand, they deal damage to us equal to the number of cards they discarded, or it gets +X equals. So it doesn't do anything if it gets through here. We don't have to worry about any tricks coming out because it hit us. Dawnbringer Cleric, gain a couple life. No 6th mana for our opponent, looks like. Ooh, Priest of Ancient Lore, wonderful draw. You know what is a little awkward is if I'd played the land that last turn, I could have double pumped with the Steadfast Unicorn. So our opponent definitely has a combat trick with the way they attacked last turn, so I don't really want to send the Unicorn in, but the combat trick might not be enough to get a 1 power creature up to 5 power. It would definitely be enough to kill our Unicorn, though, no matter what trick it was, so we'll keep the Unicorn back to be safe, because it is a really powerful effect at this point. We've got the mana to do it twice per turn, give our whole field +2/+2 vigilance every turn. Yeah, this Unicorn's a big overperformer. I completely overlooked it in my earlier drafts, but it's been kind of nuts in this game. Minimus Containment on the Devoted Paladin. Sad. Can double pump here. How big would a double pump be? 4-3 status, still trades into ambergris. And then 3-4 status. Double pump send in the priest doesn't seem bad. I think I would rather just get another creature out here. And I guess a single pump accomplishes the same thing as a double pump, so I might as well still send in the priest, because it still only trades with ambergris. Or Dawnbringer Cleric with a combat trick. Okay, so we get in for 3, cool. Alright. Pass right back to us again. Another land. Well, we get the double pump. Trade there, take 4. Or we might be able to finally see what combat trick they wanted to use on the offensive with ambergris. Alright, on board this is just going to happen. Just allow it. What have you got? What tricks do you have lying in wait? Arcane Archery, +3/+3. Reach and trample till end of turn. Their next creature comes in with a +1/+1 counter, reach counter, and trample counter. That is a nuts trick. Yeah, that's huge. It's going to be a 4/7. Can't even win the fight by sacking a creature. Alright. Trade our Sepulchre Ghoul for their combat trick. The problem is the combat trick gives extra value as well. Now their flyer comes out as a 4/4. Or their second Ambergris comes out as a 4/3. Gate of the Black Dragon is the best land we could have drawn here. Is it worth trading the Unicorn into their Citadel Agent? Their Ambergris? I don't know. Honestly, don't know. I'm gonna say no. We can only activate the ability during our turn anyway. I guess we're letting our opponent know we don't have an instant in hand this way, but I just wanted to visualize the power I was going to have on board. There's the Pegasus Guardian. And past turn here. Priest of Ancient Lore is a great draw. Play that first. Okay, so we do get to play a land here. We'll decide what we play after we seek a non-land card. Devoted Paladin. Okay. If I sack my treasure, then I can buff the board this turn, but I'm not doing anything with that buff, so we'll just pass. Opponent has the red source they need to use their gate to tumble down to seek an on-land card now. Just like we did with our Gate of the Black Dragon. Rally Maneuver for lifelink on Ambergris to get them back in the game here. That is massive. I'm going to flip it into the white version. Gonna be one more power. Yeah, that sucks. Gain 5 life here. You got it. I think that flips the game here. Just missed on action for too long in the end here. Yeah, at this point we pop the treasure and just hit as hard as we can. So we hit for 4. We'll have all our blockers up too. I guess it's possible. It's possible we can win this. Now we cannot. Trade into that. I guess they're at 6. They just top decked 2 cards off of Ambergris, but if they didn't hit... oh wait, no, we just die if I don't block. Okay, never mind. I was going to say, if they didn't hit another creature, then if I don't block, then we win... if we draw a removal spell here. But we can't do that because we die. Portable hole off the top here. Ouch. That's gonna be game. Close stuff there. Got off to a pretty solid start. Had the lead for a while, but just got to the point we needed to draw into stuff and did not draw into enough stuff. 0-1 to start it off. Here we are in round 2. Turn 1 Unicorn, turn 2 Flaming Fist Dusk Guard. It's going to be a little bit of a bummer that we have a comes into play tapped land in this hand, but other than that, the hand is excellent. Does exactly what we want to do, just gets the ball rolling real quick. Opponent starts with Corlessa, a 1/4 blocker. Incredibly annoying, but we have Valiant Farewell to trade up into that. And we have Steadfast Unicorn's ability. Makes Flaming Fist Duskguard a 4/2 Vigilance. Yeah, 2 mana 1/4 with really good text. You can cast dragons from the top of their library, and I think they just did. Wait, no, that was from hand, I think. I don't know for sure. Okay, so our next creature comes in with +1 power. Just play a 3/1 Priest of Ancient Lore here. Or do I attack and hold up Valiant Farewell? Or do I play the Gate and the Ghoul? I think I like Gate and Ghoul here and then pass the turn. 3/2 Sepulchre Ghoul. The next turn maybe you could just go for Unicorn Vigilance on the board. Improvised Weaponry. Sepulchre Ghoul cannot sacrifice itself, so I can't stop them from getting the treasure. But I could have sacked the Unicorn, I guess, to save the Ghoul over the Unicorn. Maybe I'm overvaluing the Unicorn here, but I did enjoy that card a lot previously. I wish I had another Plains here, because Portable Hull and Priest of Ancient Lore would be a good turn. But if I just Portable Hull, it's not a fantastic turn. Still probably fine. Corless is kind of nuts. I should have sacked the Dusk Guard to save the Sepulchre Ghoul. I am just now realizing. Yeah, have a 3/2 instead of a 3/1. I was still shortcutting it in my mind to just being like a 2/2 with that ability. Because I am a fool. Alright, Priest of Ancient Lore, let's draw some goodies. Plains is a goodie, thank you. Don't want to trade my Unicorn into that Pseudo-Dragon Familiar, but it's probably fine if I do. Yeah. It's their best onboard trade for sure. Well, they don't want to trade at all. Fair. That is a 2/1 flyer that can give other creatures flying. So that is a powerful card. Dragonborn Looter. And follow the tracks, conjure up a gate of their choice. Big fan of that card. Did some great stuff in our ramp deck. Alright, getting aggressive, getting us in the sky here. Go to our turn. Priest of Ancient Lore. Again, see what we've got. Sepulchre Ghoul. Send in the squad. Valiant Farewell, trade into Looter. Yep. Another Flaming Fist Dusk Guard. They have 7 mana up now. If they're the big dragon rampy deck, they could play a Dread Lenorm here, but looks like just gonna tap the Gate to Sea Tower to seek a non-land card. Okay, play the Dusk Guard before the Ghoul. It's gonna cost us 4 mana, 6, 7 mana here. Don't have the mana to buff and play both of these. So we just attack all, then we play both of these. No buff this turn. You know what could really get me here? If they have the breath weapon. Deals 2 to all non-dragons. I guess I can save my Sepulchre Ghoul this time. I can play the Sepulchre Ghoul correctly. And then I still have a card draw off of our Gate to the Black Dragon. Thrakus the Butcher. Ooh. Other dragons attack for double power. Fun stuff. And Karlach, 2/2 first strike. They can specialize it for 6, and they can specialize it from their graveyard. If they do specialize it from the graveyard, they bring it back to the board, but it can't block. So it can kind of just keep coming back. Kind of want to dump all my mana into a double pump here and just swing out, because 2 creatures guaranteed get in. We hit hard. Pretty much everything at least trades. Yeah, the only way things don't trade here is if they put Thrakus on the Unicorn, I guess. But everything else is like we win the combat. Not even a trade. Yeah, we're hitting for like 7 here. Minimum. This is just the Steadfast Unicorn deck. That card has been great. So they can specialize their card, but again, when it comes back to the board, it can't block. They're gonna scoop them up. It's gonna be 1-1 for us. I'm playing against the Amazonian here. Definitely keep this hand, Steadfast Unicorn, into some priests. She's on a white deck as well, and now we've drawn into one of our 2-drops, so our curve is going to be fantastic. Flaming Fist Dusk Guard. Looks like her curve is also going to be fantastic. Well, aha. Dusk Guard versus Dusk Guard. Let's go. Just mono white so far. Betrayer's Humiliation. Deal damage equal to the number of creatures they have. Let's just take this trade here. It's another trick. Indestructible till end of turn. That's fine. Priest of Ancient Lore. Trade that into their Dusk Guard. Snap trade. She's still stuck on 2 mana here? Yes. Alright, another Priest of Ancient Lore. Sepulchre Ghoul. White-green from Amy. She's got an Owlbear Shepherd. We can have their end step if Creatures you control have total power 8 or greater, draw a card. So a card draw engine potentially. I think I would like to just not deal with that. I'll Sewer Plague it. And say I would Sewer Plague this. If she didn't block, I would just Sewer Plague post-combat. It would get -2/-2, and then it would be a 0/1 when she untaps, and then it would die when it goes back to our turn. Okay. Pretty fine with Devoted Paladin here for a swing. They can trade into our Priest if she wants. Alright, down to 14. The Blessed Hippogriff can give another attacking creature flying every time it attacks. Draconic Muralists. We don't actually really want to kill that, but we don't have much of a choice. Sending into combat. Ooh, Servok the Usurper. Kind of nuts here right now. 3 creatures in grave. I really like the word nuts. I don't know if you've, if you've catched on to that. So 6 mana. Yeah, this Muralist is a brick wall. Let's just play Servok and start doing that stuff. Boop on in with a 5/1 Priest of Ancient Lore. They trade with Draconic Muralists? No. So I guess she doesn't have super good dragons in the deck. She does not want to immediately trade with the Muralists. Maybe her dragons are just too expensive, like Dreadlinorm, like 7 mana dragons or something. Yeah, Servok's a big deal here, so wouldn't be surprised to see some removal here. Soon's Intervention. Okay, so what do I get on the black version? I get more creatures in grave. White version, I get First Strike. I don't think it's worth flipping at all. Just do this. Alright. See what she'll get off the Muralists. Destroy the Paladin. Well, I can stop her from scrying by sacrificing that, so I might as well. Say no scry for you. Again, I still just want to hold on to this Sewer Plague for whatever dragon she finds. It's a 4/4 Flying Trample. Okay. Costs 6 mana, though. She's still on 4. Trelasara, we can Sewer Plague her. I don't need to Sewer Plague her, so I'm not going to. I'll save Sewer Plague for the 4/4 Flying Trample if that shows up. Yeah, Devoted Paladin's great here. Drop that down. Keep the Swamp for Servok, potentially. I gotta say, after playing this game, I'm definitely a lot higher on Servok than I was before. This card's been nuts here. Because our deck is just aggressive enough, we have so many like 2 mana 3/1s and stuff that will just trade all the time, that Servok ends up just being big damage really quickly. Okay. Buff the Ghoul and we get to attack both. Trade into Paladin. Hit for 4. I guess we could have attacked with Servok as well, because she couldn't survive without blocking the 8/2. Just didn't do the math on how insanely big that is now. 7 now. Bone Collar Cleric, no second black source though. So we just Sewer Plague in the end step. Attack for lethal. Okay, combat, buff the ghoul, send in the squad. And that'll be game. Two and one now. Sarevok is definitely a very powerful card. Another fantastic curve here. Steadfast Unicorn into Duskagard into Sepulchre Ghoul. Red-white from our opponent. Genasi Rabble-Rousers the play. I can portable hole that on turn 3. So want to curve my creatures out for now. Turn 3 from our opponents. Rabble-Rouser's gonna get its double team trigger. I guess I forgot about double team. I should have portable hold rather than play more creatures here to stop them from double teaming, because double team is pretty monstrous. Well, we start looping Dusk Guards together. Should make them real big. Portable hole on this Rabble-Rouser, I guess. Probably have that 1 mana removal here. Okay, that's fine. Ambergris, I will Sewer Plague her. They have another one of the 1 mana removal? No. That's really annoying. I guess Ambergris stays. Well, we have lost. When this attack sword dies, choose 2. Each targets a different player. Deal 2 to a player, they get 2 treasures. Deal 2 to each creature target player controls. They can just wipe our whole board is the option they choose for us. Yeah, I'll give each player a buff. I'll deal 2 to all of your creatures. And if they survive, they'll get bigger. Yeah, we lose. I guess I can play Sepulchre Ghoul and then I sack a creature when they deal 2 to all our creatures, so we can still have a Sepulchre Ghoul down, but that doesn't save us at all. Just leaves a 2/2 on our board. We need to draw removal, so we just need to seek. And Sarevok is not removal, so we're gone. Chaos Balor is just gonna shred us to pieces. Down to 3. Yep. Chaos Baldur. .exe. 2 and 2 it'll be as we head into round 5. Playing against Fire Shoes now here in round 5. Great Twitter account. We'll see if we get to cast our intervention this game. Have drawn it once, but we've never gotten to cast it, so that would be pretty cool. Got a solid hand for getting there. Priest of Ancient Lore gaining us life, drawing us another card to hit more lands, Sea Tower Imprisonment to keep things locked down for a bit. Hit for 1 here. Drop a Sepulchre Ghoul. Solid draw there. Lets us curve out 1, 2, and 3. Mono green so far from Fire Shoes. Don't know if that is intentional or just some missed lands here. Gain a life, draw a card. There's our 4th land. We're getting there. Or our 5th land, sorry. Getting to our intervention. Still mono green. William and Artok, Polar Werebear it is. With Valiant Farewell, we can make Sepulchre Ghoul big enough to win the fight against Oyam and Artok. Oyam and Artok loses Hexproof once it deals damage, so we can chump with Priest of Ancient Lore if they don't take the block here. Sure. I guess I don't even have to play the Valiant Farewell. So probably shouldn't if I don't have to. So that was pretty good. I didn't even realize Steadfast Unicorn, it's not at sorcery speed, it's just only during our turn. So that was incredible stuff from Steadfast Unicorn. Again, just kind of popping off for us. Gets the Oyam and Artok out of the way. Druidic Ritual, mill 3, return a creature and land from grave to hand. Green-black from Fire Shoes. No land in their grave here though, just the Polar Werebear. Got our 6 mana for our intervention. 13, I can hit for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1 damage off. We still just play Paladin here. Four, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 by sacking Paladin. Yeah. Not lethal. Or we could do it the other way around, where we do use the Unicorn ability in Valiant Farewell, and then we're still 11 damage, 1 off. But that looks like game here. Looks like we're still not going to cast our intervention. Opponent just stuck on mana there. So the aggressive decks are really good at punishing that, and that will be 3 and 2. Mono white hand here, but I'll definitely keep it with a turn 2 Flaming Fist Duskguard into turn 3 Priest of Ancient Lore. Green-black from our opponent. As we've seen from Fire Shoes, that can be a self-mill strategy. Another Flaming Fist Duskguard. Well, that's our turn 4 play right now. Looking at our lands. Scaled Nurturer number 2. Opponent is really ramping up, and Underdark Basilisk. It's fine, trade that into a 3/1. Turn down to 14. Here's our Duskguard. Devoted Paladin next turn for a pretty big swing. Owlbear is the play off of double Nurturer, so really happy to have Devoted Paladin so we can still attack in. Not super happy about drawing the 7th Plains before the first Swamp. That is starting to get really sketchy here, mana-wise. They're down to 6 though, so it might not matter. But if there was any way we're going to lose this game, it's if we don't find the black source. Our opponent can pretty easily stabilize. Even if we do hit the black source, it's going to be... it's going to be our 8th land drawn, which is also a bit of a problem. Oh... Yeah, we don't have attacks with these 3/1s, unfortunately. Now that they have a 2/4 and a 4/4, I can trade Paladin into Owlbear, I guess. Is it worth it? Probably. So they have less blockers in the future. So now, if they don't have more great stuff to play, then maybe we can lock down Circle of the Moon Druid and our 3/1s can get attacking again. Druidic Ritual, mill 3, get a creature and land from grave to hand. One of those cards is a 7/6 that gains 3 life, but they're going to choose the Underdark Basilisk, play it safe here at 6 life, fair enough. I'm actually happier with that than I would have been if they took the 7/6. Because that would have been super massive this turn, but they might have more cards like that in their hand. Yeah, Summon Undead. We'll just slam those out. Yeah, I think it's probably too late for that. Just a little bit of mana stumbles here is going to be enough for the green-black deck to get the foothold. Get their footing here and stabilize against the aggro deck. They're going to have bigger plays because they're the green-black deck. They're going to blow up our Bonecaller Cleric. No, they're going to save theirs. Blow up our Portable Hole. Okay. Well, I guess then we get our Devoted Paladin back. Although that doesn't even matter now that they have a 7/6. I mean, our only way to really win is if we draw like our Intervention. That'd be big. Yeah, we need something really big and high impact here. Closer than it looks. It looks really not close right now, but if you look at this game like 4 turns ago, we look super close to winning. Just a couple different draws here or there. Wow, yeah, we're gone. We are completely gone. That's going to give them 3 witches. And they all have pretty impactful effects. Beginning of their upkeep, I discard a card, and they get a 1/1 skeleton, and they have 3 3/3s. Alright, Priest, you got anything for us? Certainly not. Paladin doesn't do anything for us either, so we just pass. Discard this Plains. Take another 7. Bonecaller Cleric is a sorcery, so I can't chump and then use it. Oh, I see. They just want more witches. Fair enough. Game's completely over at this point. I don't want to scoop. I want to let our opponent do all their fun stuff. They've earned it. At this point, this is my last draft of the early access. So we'll play it all out. Alright, all attack us. Probably should have sacked Cleric for the Priest. Seen if that got us anywhere. Unlikely, but maybe. These creatures can stop more than 3 damage. So we have to just lose the 3 there. Because we can jump a 4 power or 7 power creature with them. Alright. Very dead. I believe that is 3 and 3 for the end of the quick draft event. Yep, 3 and 3 is how this deck is going to do. A little disappointing. I think this deck could have gone pretty far. Don't remember our earlier losses, but I know that last round was pretty close loss there. Just some really rough mana stuff there. Drawing 7 planes before a single black source was very rough. Then, yeah, maybe if we just curved out a little more aggressively, we could get there before they get to stabilize it and start doing the ridiculous alchemy things you can do in the format. The ridiculous green-black reanimator stuff. Cool way to lose, though. They really, really turned things around after they stabilized. But yeah, overall, I liked this deck quite a bit. The Dust Guards, Priest of Ancient Lores were great. Steadfast Unicorn was really good. I loved that. And Saravok the Usurper was also phenomenal. Boneclar Cleric wasn't very good in our deck, but it can be really powerful, as we've seen from our opponent's deck in that last game. Valiant Farewell was really whatever. That was just like the last card in the deck. Could pretty much swap that out for anything in the sideboard and it would be fine. Yeah, Devoted Paladins were great, and we never got to cast our Soon's Intervention, so don't know how explosive that card was, but overall, really solid white-black aggro deck. Saravok is definitely really nice when you have a deck with a lot of expendable early-game creatures, a lot of 3/1s and 2/1s, stuff they're going to trade off in combat all the time to get your grave filled, and then, yeah, Saravok just pops off. So the one game where we got to use Saravok, it was pretty great. And that was pretty cool. But that is going to end today's draft, and that is going to end these Alchemy Horizons Baldur's Gate early access videos. So once again, thank you very much to Wizards of the Coast for the early access account, for helping me get this content to you all. We also did a stream on the Twitch channel. You can check out the VOD over there if you want to see some drafts that didn't get posted to YouTube. There were two drafts after the Green Ramp draft that I posted on YouTube. And yeah, it was a pretty fun time overall, but that is going to end today's video. As always, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you'd like the YouTube algorithm to send some more of these videos to your recommended feeds. And once again, as always, thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.